McDonald's may still top the charts in global brand recognition, but in 2025, even the golden arches are dimming. What once stood for fast, affordable indulgence now faces growing indifference from millennials and Gen Z, who are walking past legacy chains in favor of cleaner menus, customizable bowls, and sustainable packaging. McDonald's, Burger King, Subway, and others are caught in a cycle of rising costs and falling relevance, struggling to modernize aging menus and outdated interiors, while newer, sleeker competitors reshape the definition of fast food.
Don't get fooled by the label. Subscribe now to uncover what's really behind your favorite brands, and get the truth big food doesn't want you to see.
The shift isn't just in what people eat. It's in how they want to feel while eating it. These aren't isolated brand failures. They're signals of a deeper change in American life. As consumers reject processed staples and gravitate toward food that feels real, personal, and intentional, chains that once defined convenience culture are being left behind. Health trends, economic pressure, and digital influence have rewritten the rules. Without bold reinvention, these household names risk becoming cultural artifacts, reminders of a food era quickly losing its place in the present. Fast food, once the face of American convenience and culture, is on the edge of collapse. And it's not just one brand losing ground. It's an entire generation of food giants that are being left behind. McDonald's, Burger King, Subway, Taco Bell, KFC, Wendy's, Dairy Queen, Popeyes, Jack in the Box, and Pizza Hut. 10 iconic names that once defined drive-thrus, mall food courts, and childhood cravings are now at serious risk of becoming relics. 2025 marks a turning point in the fast food industry, not because of a single economic downer or viral scandal, but because of something deeper, a massive cultural and generational shift that these legacy chains have failed to respond to. The warning signs have been flashing for years: declining store traffic, underwhelming menu updates, and a growing sense that these brands no longer speak to the tastes or values of younger consumers. Let's be clear, this isn't just about food. It's about relevance. Fast food as we've known it is being rejected by millennials and Gen Z, not because they hate convenience, but because they expect more from it. More transparency, more quality, more customization, more connection. And the old guard, they're not delivering. McDonald's, the biggest name of them all, has seen traffic drop and growth stagnate in key markets. Yes, it's still everywhere, but its influence is slipping. The core menu hasn't meaningfully evolved. The interiors are dated. The brand identity that once symbolized global dominance now feels generic, uninspired, and tone-deaf to modern food trends. Attempt to innovate with digital kiosks or limited-time offers haven't moved the needle with younger customers who see it as cheap, unhealthy, and culturally out of sync. Burger King is in even worse shape. Years of lagging behind McDonald's in market share, combined with inconsistent branding, have left the chain struggling to stay afloat. Its Whopper may be iconic, but it hasn't been enough to carry a brand that hasn't figured out what it stands for. Constant rebranding efforts have only confused consumers further. What's left is a shrinking customer base and a growing list of closed locations. Subway, once the world's largest fast food chain by store count, is now a textbook example of brand deterioration. Stale menus, inconsistent quality, and a dated image have alienated customers who now have a dozen better sandwich options, from local delis to health-forward fast casual chains. Younger diners are looking for authenticity and freshness. 2 quality Subway claims but fails to deliver. Taco Bell has clung to its quirky, youth-driven marketing strategy, but hasn't masked the fact that its menu is still heavily processed and largely unchanged. Health-conscious consumers aren't buying it, literally. Its reliance on novelty and gimmickry has started to wear thin, and without real investment in food quality or environmental values, the brand risks losing its remaining cultural capital. KFC has been slow to adapt. While chicken is still a booming category, the Colonel's empire is being outpaced by newer, more dynamic brands offering organic or spicy Korean-style options that appeal to today's diverse palate. KFC's failure to meaningfully upgrade its offerings beyond nostalgia is dragging it into irrelevance. Wendy's has maintained a degree of digital relevance through social media, but the product hasn't kept pace with the buzz. Its menu is still dominated by fried, sodium-heavy fare, and interiors feel increasingly out of date. Younger customers want more than clever tweets. They want food that aligns with their values and their health goals. Wendy's hasn't made that leap. Dairy Queen, once a beloved destination for families, is being quietly phased out of relevance. It's not just that fewer people are buying blizzards. It's that frozen desserts have moved upscale. Artisanal ice cream shops, frozen yogurt chains, and plant-based treat options have redefined the dessert category, and Dairy Queen hasn't evolved with it. Its branding, store design, and menu are stuck in the past. Popeyes had a brief cultural resurgence with its viral chicken sandwich, but it failed to sustain that momentum. Operational issues, limited menu variety, and a lack of broader brand modernization have kept it from becoming a long-term challenger. The hype faded, and without a clear plan for innovation, so did the growth. Jack in the Box, long a regional favorite in the West, has struggled to gain national traction. Its menu is sprawling, unfocused, and often criticized for poor quality. It lacks identity, cohesion, and most importantly, health-forward appeal. In a market moving towards simplified, high-quality offerings, Jack in the Box feels more like a late-night relic than a real contender for modern consumer dollars. Pizza Hut, once the king of American pizza chains, is now getting buried by competition on all sides. Whether it's Domino's aggressive tech-driven expansion, the rise of delivery-only ghost kitchens, or the growing dominance of premium fast casual pizza joints, Pizza Hut's model is collapsing. Its dine-in experience has disappeared, and its delivery isn't competitive enough to hold the line. The brand has lost touch with the very concept of innovation, and that's the story across the board. These brands fail to adapt. While Shake Shack, Chipotle, Sweetgreen, and dozens of other fast casual upstarts leaned into transparency, sustainability, digital integration, and ingredient quality, the old giants sat still. They assumed brand recognition would carry them. But brand recognition doesn't matter when the brand means cheap, processed, outdated. Younger generations don't just want food, they want an experience. They want to see where their ingredients came from. They want options that fit their dietary goals. They want stores that feel clean, modern, and intentional. And they want brands that engage with them on platforms they use, not with TV commercials, but with values. The fast food giants were built for a different era. An era where speed and price were all that mattered, where drive-thrus were symbols of freedom, and uniformity was a selling point. That era is ending. Convenience is now digital. Variety is now curated. And quality is non-negotiable. Even economically, these chains are getting squeezed. Operational costs have soared. Ingredients, labor, utilities, leases. Inflation has pushed prices up, but consumer patience hasn't followed. If people are going to pay $12 for lunch, they expect better than reheated meat and wilted lettuce in a styrofoam clamshell. Franchise models aren't helping either. They limit flexibility. They slow down innovation. And they put the burden of failure on individual owners rather than the parent brand. That structure might have worked in the 80s, but it's ill-equipped for the fast-moving, hyper-competitive food landscape of today. And then there's social media. Platforms like TikTok and Instagram have completely changed how food is marketed and consumed. If it doesn't photograph well, it doesn't sell. If the experience isn't worth sharing, it doesn't matter. Many of these legacy chains are either absent from the conversation or trying to catch up with gimmicks that feel forced and out of touch. This isn't just about taste. It's about trust. Consumers don't trust processed food. They don't trust outdated health claims. And they don't trust brands that haven't evolved. That trust, once broken, is nearly impossible to rebuild, especially in a market that rewards transparency and punishes greenwashing. There's still a chance for these brands to turn around. Some are experimenting with plant-based options, digital ordering tools, and store redesigns. But for most, it's too little, too late. The loyalty they once counted on has already shifted elsewhere. The cultural relevance they once commanded is fading. This isn't just the end of a marketing cycle. It's the end of an era. An entire generation of American food culture is vanishing, not because people stop eating, but because people started caring about what they eat, about where it comes from, about who they support when they spend their money. If this shift matters to you, if you watch these chains decline in your city, if you're seeing fewer customers, if you've changed where you eat, hit the like button. Share this with others who see the same changes. Drop a comment and tell us what fast food means to you now. And if you want to keep tracking the real story behind what's changing in America's economy and culture, subscribe. Because the golden arches may still be standing, but the era they defined, it's ending. Fast. The collapse of these 10 fast food giants isn't happening overnight, but it is happening. It's happening one empty dining room at a time. One franchise closure. One viral post exposing moldy buns or raw chicken. One disappointed customer who walks out and never comes back. This isn't just a market shift. It's a cultural rejection. The country that practically invented fast food is walking away from it. That walk isn't being led by politicians or public health officials. It's being driven by regular people, by millennials saddled with inflation and health concerns, by Gen Z customers who've grown up questioning everything from climate change to corporate ethics. These generations don't care that McDonald's served billions. They care about what's in the burger, where it came from, whether the company paid its workers fairly or served the same reheated menu for 30 years without change. This isn't just about eating healthy, either. It's about intentionality. People aren't looking for diet food. They're looking for food that feels real. A burrito bowl with transparent sourcing beats a rubbery cheeseburger with mystery meat every time. Chipotle is not perfect, but its success proves that people will line up and pay more if they feel like they're getting honesty and substance in return. Meanwhile, McDonald's has struggled to offer anything beyond nostalgia. Yes, they've added kiosks. They've tried plant-based burgers. They've experimented with celebrity meals. But none of it touches the core issue. People don't trust the food. They don't trust the nutrition, the sourcing, or the sincerity. And when trust breaks, loyalty follows. Burger King is even further behind. Despite desperate attempts to modernize its brand with edgy ads and rebel messaging, the product hasn't evolved. The food still feels artificial. The stores still feel neglected. And consumers can see through the gimmicks. You can't slap a new slogan on an outdated experience and expect people to care. And Subway, the very symbol of the early 2000s health food boom, has now become a cautionary tale. Once seen as a fresh alternative to burgers, it's now ridiculed for its questionable ingredients and inconsistent quality. The "Eat Fresh" motto rings hollow when customers are questioning whether the bread even qualifies as bread. Younger consumers aren't buying it, literally or figuratively. Taco Bell, once the favorite of broke college students and late-night partiers, is facing the harsh reality of changing priorities. Today's youth want food that fuels, not food that clogs. They want spice and flavor, yes, but they want to know the ingredients don't come from a can. They want to feel like their money went to something worthwhile, not just a sodium bomb wrapped in a tortilla and dunked in nostalgia. KFC is in a particularly awkward place. The fried chicken market is booming. Popeyes, Chick-fil-A, even independent Korean-style chains are seeing major growth. But KFC hasn't kept up. Its identity is stuck in the past. The branding feels like a theme park. The food, once novel, now feels tired. And when new players are offering bold flavors, ethical sourcing, and modern design, KFC's outdated model just can't compete. Even brands that once had a powerful emotional connection, like Wendy's or Dairy Queen, are losing ground. Sure, people remember them, but memory doesn't equal loyalty. Wendy's snarky Twitter account has earned laughs, but it hasn't stopped the decline in foot traffic. And Dairy Queen soft serve might still sell in the suburbs, but it's being undercut by smaller, trendier dessert shops that offer organic, vegan, gluten-free, Instagrammable options that today's consumers actually seek out. And then there's Popeyes. The viral chicken sandwich gave them a burst of energy, but it was short-lived. The core problems, slow service, inconsistent quality, and outdated menu, never got addressed. The hype didn't lead to reinvention. It led to burnout. Now Popeyes finds itself in the same rut, struggling to find a way forward as customer interest fades. Jack in the Box has never been a national leader, but even its regional strength is starting to wane. Its chaotic, unfocused menu reads more like a last-minute college fridge raid than a cohesive food strategy. Consumers have more options now, and they're voting with their wallets. Jack's novelty has worn off, and without a clear brand identity or culinary value proposition, it risks sliding off the map entirely. And then there's Pizza Hut, once the undisputed king of family pizza night. Its dine-in experience is almost extinct. The buffet? Gone. The red roof? Abandoned. Even the delivery game is being lost to Domino's aggressive tech infrastructure and app convenience. Meanwhile, boutique pizza shops and artisan brands have exploded, offering sourdough crusts, premium toppings, and real dining experiences. Pizza Hut's mass market identity just doesn't cut anymore. This all points to the same conclusion. The old fast food giants were built for a different America. They were built for a country that valued sameness, that accepted mystery meat and fry grease in exchange for convenience and price, that saw food as fuel, not experience. That world doesn't exist anymore. Today's consumers want value and meaning. They want meals that reflect their ethics, their health priorities, their cultural tastes. And they want transparency, real transparency, not PR spin. They want fewer preservatives, cleaner ingredients, clear sourcing, menus that offer vegetarian and vegan options not as an afterthought, but as a default. They want to walk into a restaurant and not feel like they're stepping into a time capsule from 1997. What's more, they want brands to meet them where they are, on apps, on social media, through influencers they trust. That's where the culture lives now. And if your brand doesn't live there too, it's invisible. The truth is, none of these legacy chains are doomed, but most of them are unwilling to change fast enough to survive. They're stuck in cost-cutting cycles, afraid of alienating their existing customers, unwilling to bet big on the future. But the future doesn't wait. It moves with or without you. Some brands might still pivot. A few might get bought out, gutted, and relaunched under a new identity. But for many, this is the end of the road. Not because they weren't loved, but because they couldn't keep up. This is the end of an era defined by plastic trays, combo meals, kids' toys, and soda fountains. An era that brought people together but also pushed cheap, unhealthy food to the forefront of the American diet. An era whose time is up. Fast food isn't going away. But the kind of fast food that dominates is changing. The brands that survive will be the ones that understand that speed and price alone aren't enough anymore. You have to evolve. You have to care. You have to reflect the culture around you. This isn't nostalgia, it's a reckoning. We're not just watching fast food chains decline. We're watching a cultural institution unravel in real time. McDonald's and Burger King used to define what it meant to grab a bite. They were fixtures of road trips, after-school hangouts, and family nights when cooking wasn't an option. These places were part of the rhythm of American life. And now, they're being replaced, not just by competitors, but by a whole different mindset. Younger consumers aren't asking for faster burgers. They're asking why the burger was made the way it was, where the beef came from, how the workers were treated, whether the packaging is compostable, whether the brand supports or ignores the issues they care about. And that's the part these legacy chains still haven't understood. They're still chasing gimmicks, celebrity meals, limited-time hot sauces, retro packaging, as if aesthetics can cover for substance, as if slapping a new name on the same processed food would make people forget the years of stagnation. It won't. Gen Z and millennials aren't interested in performative change. They want authenticity. And if they don't get it, they'll take their money elsewhere, often to smaller, faster-growing chains that do get it. Brands like Sweet Green Kava, Shake Shack, Dig, or even food trucks and ghost kitchens are eating into the market share that once belonged to the giants. They're winning not by being cheaper, but by being better. More than that, they're building communities. They understand the value of being culturally relevant, health-aware, and digitally connected. Their stores look modern. Their menus are transparent. Their marketing meets consumers where they already are, on Instagram, TikTok, and through values-driven influencers. They're not selling food. They're selling identity. Meanwhile, Pizza Hut is still pushing cheese stuffed crusts. Subway is still trying to convince people they've fixed the bread. KFC is still serving the same sides it was 20 years ago. That's not reinvention. That's repetition. These brands built empires on consistency. But in today's market, consistency without innovation is a death sentence. And that brings us to the larger truth. This isn't just about fast food. It's about what it represents. It's about how American values are shifting, from speed and sameness to purpose and personalization, From mass production to mindful consumption, the chains that once ruled didn't fall overnight. They fell by refusing to evolve. And now, the cracks are visible. Store closures, slumping sales, irrelevant menus, social media backlash, empty dining rooms. The signs are all around us. And if nothing changes, these brands won't just struggle, they'll disappear. So if you've grown up with these places, if you feel the shift happening, you're not imagining it. You're witnessing a generational change, one that's redefining what American food culture even is. If you see it too, if you stop going to these places not out of protest, but because they simply don't serve you anymore, then hit like, share this with others who see the shift. Leave a comment with what fast food means to you today. And subscribe if you want more deep dives into what's changing and why. Because the logos may still shine at night, but the future, it's not on the menu.